What's up, Luka Nation? We're about to drop another episode for you, but I want to take a second. We've been working hard to bring you sponsor partners, and we have two of them. And I wanted to remind you of the two, and make sure you knew about the value add that they have for you, Luka Nation. Gem Mint Studios, which you can find their Gem Mint collection trio at gemmintphotography.com. Gemmintphotography.com. You have a promo code of LucaNation10 at gemmintphotography.com for 10% off. And most recently, we've partnered with Thrive Fantasy. That's thrivefantasy.com with your promo code of LucaNation20. You deposit $20 and they will give you $20 to match that for free. Again, we're going to keep bringing you free content, but we also want to, at your request, bring you a couple of partners, something that'll be a value add to you guys in your hobby journey. And please message us, if you want us to reach out to other sponsors or for our next sponsorship partner, if you guys have some ideas, please, we answer all our messages and we'd love to hear from you guys. Thank you and enjoy the episode.
Welcome back, Luka Nation. End of the week. We got the weekend coming up. Cage has already deemed it not as fun because he has to go back into the office next week. But I'm pretty excited with football coming up, the Lakers series starting up. So, and we brought a lot of content to Luka Nation this weekend. They listened to a ton of it, and we've had a ton of good feedback. So I'm excited to just bring two plays here today. And, I want to recap some things. Burrow versus Baker.
Yeah.
The heat, and then the scuffle in the locker room. So a lot of good stuff.
Listen,
here.
I'll let you do your thing and recap. I just got to start off by saying, this is the first day of month 3 for the Luka Tigers and Bronze Oh My podcast. We got to say thank you. We posted a nice thank you this morning on Instagram. Showed that we on our 2-month anniversary, 2-month birthday. I don't know what exactly you call it. I still feel like we're in our honeymoon phase, Andrew. I'm still opening the door for you and still buying you flowers. Give us a month, we'll see what happens. I'm gonna be closing the door on your fingers. But so it's day 1 of month 3, and I'm looking back on month 2 as opposed to month 1. I mean, we tripled the amount of listeners from one month to the next. Quadrupled actually. We had 2,500 at the end of 1 and 10,000 at the end of 2. And somehow, even though we were able to put out 31 episodes in month 1 a day, we were able to top that and throw 34 new ones out in month 2. I don't know how we're going to beat that in month 3. I mean, we can't do 2-a-days, but that's a lot of content, 65 episodes in 2 months. So we hope you're enjoying it, guys. I mean, we're really doing this because, a lot of these episodes, especially the bonus ones and the guest ones, you guys are asking for this stuff. And it's a good spot to, to tell you, we're listening. If you have any other ideas for additional, guests or episodes or stuff you want us to talk about, let us know. Andrew came with a great suggestion yesterday about how to buy raw, newer cards that are just being released. Maybe we can do an episode like that. We had a couple of comments about that portion of Andrew's tip yesterday. But whatever you want to hear, let us know. And really, we just want to thank you, and we hope to continue growing with you guys. So thank you.
Okay. One thing we have to talk about next month is it's October baseball, man. And if I know anything, October baseball hits different.
It does.
The games are more intense. I love playoff baseball because every pitch kind of feels like it counts, right? So that's exciting.
Well, listen, I'm a Yankee fan, right? And I'm in awe of what the White Sox are doing. I see some younger teams actually in a short season doing their stuff. I see the Padres in the West. I see the White Sox here in the American League. It's going to be fun to watch. It's a different postseason with 8 teams from each league getting in, and the different format bubble now. As we talked about it yesterday, the home teams are not really getting rewarded for playing well. The Dodgers are not going to get, quote unquote home field advantage. Neither the Yankees. It's really just get in and the sites are neutral. But it's still exciting. I mean, playoff baseball is a lot of fun. And, I'm a Yankee fan, and it's odd when you get to see something that's never happened before. But the Yankees last night became the first team ever to hit 6 home runs or more in 3 consecutive games. And they did it on the back of 1 inning that had 5 home runs in 1 inning last night. And I don't know if you guys remember, about a week and a half ago, I made Gleyber Torres my play, and he has been on an absolute tear since then. He wore glasses one game. He put So they're calling them like glaber glasses. They make T-shirts about it too, but it's like superstitious now. I mean, he's on a tear with those glasses on. So I think you're gonna see
Bo Bichette too, man. Bo Bichette, you made that play, and he's
Bo Bichette. He's back, and the hair is flowing. But it's funny, the Yankees is my pick, but I don't want to get to the picks yet. I want to hear your take on it. We had some crazy sports stuff last night. I actually played two fantasy things last night in Thrive Fantasy app. I actually put in, I figured, hey, just like our cards, right? We're riding along with our listeners. If we're going to recommend it, we're going to use guys. I'm going to give you some time to buy it. I'm going to buy it myself. But same thing with the Thrive app. Burrow Baker. So the Burrow Baker one, believe it or not, I did not finish in the money because I had over yards on Baker, and it was over 225, and he had finished with 218 because he didn't throw for like the whole fourth quarter. And that last drive where they were going to take the clock out and they just hand off. And we would have one throw. The Bengals knew what was coming. They knew what was coming. If they could have stopped it once and one throw, that was the difference. It's fun fantasy because it gives you something else to watch for while you're doing it. But I actually did a basketball one and won on a basketball one. I did 2 ones, one baseball, one basketball, and I won by, it's funny how you lose by 7 yards on the Baker Mayfield, but I won by Marcus Smart. Had over 21 and a half rebounds, assists, and points total. He wound up with 22 combined. So by half a point, I wound up in the money on that one. It's fun. It's just a different way of playing the sport.
Pissed about? So
what's up?
He stormed in the locker room and they were throwing some shit. By the way, when I play sports, I'm kind of similar, a little bit of a hothead. I don't.
If I was him, what I'd be pissed off about is that Jaylen Brown kept taking every damn shot. That's what I'd be pissed off about. At the end there, if you rewatch it, you'll watch the last couple of minutes. Jaylen Brown seemed to be taking all the shots, and he was not hitting them.
3 on the threes at the end of the game. Dude, he was not 8 for 14, 2 for 4 from 3. He hit the last 2 threes to catch them up, and then
no, but after that, just the very end.
Open 3. That was a wide open 3 from the corner. He had to take.
But did he get it?
So what is he bitching about?
Before that. No, I'm just listen, I don't know what Marcus Smart was mad about. Maybe he's mad that he's on a team that's going to get swept. I have no idea. But if I were him, it seems like at the end of the game he was open a couple of times, and the ball kept going to Jaylen Brown, and instead of him taking a shot, throwing it back, obviously Smart had a good game. It looked like Jaylen Brown, as soon as he got the ball in his hand, was just shoot. And yeah, he hit some. But obviously, and not to mention, maybe he was pissed off the way the game ended, because there was like 10 seconds left and no one fouled, or 7 seconds left, and they couldn't get a foul on the Heat. I mean, the game was still, obviously, after Boston didn't score there, the game was not completely over yet. You could have made Miami go to the free throw line and make the free throws. I've seen the last 8 seconds of games last 5 minutes. If they played the right way and you have enough timeouts to advance the ball and you're a good 3-point shooting team. Maybe he's just mad that after they missed a shot, no one fouled.
I think the big turning point was it was 89-94 with like 3 minutes left, and Jimmy Butler had the steal. He saved it. And if you rewatch the replay, Jason Tatum has a chance to get back on defense and block the shot, and he doesn't. He doesn't. He hesitates, and that's a huge play. That's a 5-point.
I've been very unimpressed by Tatum. Very unimpressed by Tatum, and maybe it's because everybody has such high expectations of him, and I've never liked him. I own now 3 Tatum cards, and I can't even say I own them because they're not in my hands yet. But my son and I opened a box of Optic earlier in the year, like a mega box or one of these boxes that comes with the red and yellow parallels. And in the box we got, the red, yellow Optic parallels. So in the box we got a red, yellow Tatum and 2 base Tatum Optics. And I sent all 3 of them in a bulk sub. And I got the grades yesterday. And we got on the bases, we got a 9 and a 10. And on the red, yellow, we got a 10. Nice. So Ian just gets all those. He just have them in his collection. I'm not a Tatum guy.
You've got a ton of subs back recently.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I'm waiting for this one to come back. It was shipped. I'll get it next week. But yeah, I was submitting a lot. April, May, June, and they're all coming back now. I won't get any for a while because the next one I subbed, actually, I submitted it in the beginning of July, or maybe even June 30th. I think I sent it in, but it wasn't logged in by them until August 15th.
Can I add something to Luka that I think, every episode I jump on here and I want to think, how can we help them, right?
Yeah.
We add value.
Well, that's why we're here, right?
Well, that's why we're here. I'm not every show who thinks like that before they start off. It's not about me, and I don't want to hear myself talk. And one thing I've learned from you is you keep a detailed Excel spreadsheet with all of your cards.
Everything.
I would want to talk to them about that, right? Because we're talking to Luka Nation. We're like, here's this gem photo studio. It's going to make your business, your photos more clean and professional. Well, keeping your books is also a way of professionalizing what we're doing. It's also a way to understand and take the emotion out of buying and selling. So what do you look for when you keep your books? What are some, like, if you were to give a crash course and someone's just starting up, what would you recommend? What would they track?
So I like to tally up by PSA sub. So when I'm buying things with an eye towards how I'm going to sub. And usually it's because I buy in bulk, right? So if I'm buying, let's just say we give a play today and it's a $5 card and I go out there and I buy 20 of them, all right? And I pay $100 for them. I will go on Excel and I will put in a line PSA sub, and I put this month on it, September. And I'd say, first line, I don't know what we're going to call it. Who knows? Andrew Goldberg, PSA 10, or Andrew Goldberg Raw number 288. And I put it in there, and it's $5 per 20, total spend $100. If there's tax or if there's, I put in the whole cost on it. And then I would do that for, 5, 10, however many items that I buy in September that are all going to go into one sub until I get to 100 cards and I'm ready for a bulk sub. And then I tally it up at the bottom. And then after I do the submission, I tally up on the bottom there how much I am paying for the sub. So if the bulk sub is $9 per and it's $40 with shipping and insurance, I put $940 or whatever it is. And at the end, I come up with a total number that's $1,500. And then I know to come back to that sub in 3 months or 2 months or 4 months or whenever that sub comes back. And I know when those 100 cards come in, I'm into that sub for $1,500. Yep. And then if I start selling them, I sell and I take off, basically I'm matching up against that 1,500 that I'm into the sub. Oh, I just sold this one for 100. I sold this one for 50. And before you know it, you've sold 30 or 40 of the cards and your money into the sub is gone and everything else is profit. Yep. And that's how you keep track of the stuff, right? You want to make sure you're not losing money on these things, right? I have even gotten a little further and I put, if I'm buying on eBay, who the eBay name is. So that way, if I buy 20 cards from an eBay seller and the grade come back and all 20 of them are 9s or there's 110 in it or something like that, I now know that eBay seller is somebody I'm not buying from again when I'm buying the raw cards.
Really smart. And you've used that to go back and for sellers' items?
Yep.
That's really smart. That's such a hack, because then you could find 2 to 5 sellers that you could go to for raw cards.
Correct.
Maybe they're breakers. You just don't know. And that's really, really smart. I like that play.
Yep. So it's just fun. I mean, it's more about keeping track of your stuff, right? Because, especially someone like me. I mean, I have 4 subs that I could do tonight if I found the time to submit 4 bulk subs, right? So, but, you can get lost in the shuffle. You keep track of your stuff, then you can understand what you're doing with it and, whether or not you're actually, doing well or not, So, I mean, that's
exactly. Kind of the 2 things I'm hearing is getting lost in the shuffle and taking the emotion out of it, right? So I got 2 subs back this week. One were Kobe rookies and the other were like kind of throwing cards. And at first, I was a little disappointed with my results from the Kobe rookies, right? All of them 9s, no 10s, a few 8.5s, and a few 8s. But remember, these are 24-year cards. So I went back to my sheet, and then I look, and I'm like, well, I'm into these cards for $25 to $30. Yep. I look at the say 9s, they're selling for $250. So I'm like, okay, yeah, would I have wanted a 10? I would have wanted a 10, of course. But my profit is already baked in. I've already made money. And having that tracking actually is like, okay, well, this was just another business transaction. It's a victory. I'm going to start selling them off. I'm going to send them to Wharf, actually.
Listen, shout out to Wharf on this stuff, right? Before you go, let's just take a pause. The Wharf, I sent my second eBay consignment to the Wharf sports cards, and it was supposed to arrive today. And I saw that he was doing a story sale. So I messaged him and I said, hey, Wharf, I think my cards are arriving there today. A couple of them are probably good for a story sale. So if you get them and you want to add them to your story sale, go right ahead. I got like a PSA 10 Josh Allen. That's one somebody will scoop up in 35 seconds. Yep. And he writes me back. He's like, hey, your stuff arrived early yesterday and I already have them up on eBay. I hope that's all right. And I'm like, all right. Holy cow. Like if everybody did that, forget about it. It would be the greatest thing on earth. And trust me, the other consigners out there that have been holding my cards for a month, they don't do that. So that's why I was shocked by that. Never in a million years. I think that 1, he would get it early, and 2, by getting it early, he already has them listed. I mean, some of this stuff already has huge bids on them, and I didn't even know they were up. It's crazy.
And guys, I think it's
efficient.
Very efficient. And I think it's really important. Like we've talked about, like separating your PC from like the cards that you want to save for your personal collection. For the cards, that's funny. I wish they could have seen your face there. For the cards
Well,
that
listen, I'm trying to get rid of the ambient noise in the background for you, right? But I seem to not be able to do it.
it's not for me. I could see you, so we have a conversation. It's for Luka Nation. You're doing great for me. But the point is, you could create a real business out of it, right? You have books, you have professional photos, you have someone to consign through. Now it's just a conveyor belt. That's how I see it. And then from that conveyor belt, you could, and I've mentioned this before, put some money back into raw cards that you could grade again. And you could finally get that PC item, that card that you really wanted. And you could go ahead and use some of your profits for that. And I love that system because I'm a big believer that systems scale, right? If you really want to go from making 5,000, 10,000 to 20 to 50,000, you have to create systems. And I think what we've described with taking good photos, buying raw from breakers, keeping track of your cards, submitting to sending to a consignor to flip for you. I think that's really important. I think it's going to help people in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Listen, I love it. And I love the tip about keeping a spreadsheet because just a perfect example is my most recent return. It is the worst gem rate I've ever gotten. And I got upcharged on it. And I called PSA to give them the authority to still charge me the extra $500-$600 in upcharges for nines on some of these cards. And I'm doing it and I'm mad. I call Andrew and I'm mad. And I write on all the groups that I'm in, I'm mad. Wow, they're upcharging me. What the hell is this? This is crazy. When I submitted the card, it didn't cost this much money. And how can they upcharge me? How can they upcharge me a different upcharge, whether the card gets a 9 or a 10? Like, that is just absurd, right? So I call them and, the customer service at PSA basically was like, first of all, they were great because they're like, look, I just do what I'm told. Like, I'm told to charge you. I don't grade the cards. I just get something on my desk and I say, is this okay? I'm not in charge of your gem rate and whatever. But the guy did go as far as to say, look, I sub myself. I'm a card person myself. He pronounced a lot of the guys in my subs' names the right way. And he's like, I can tell you, if what you're telling me is you're seeing a lower gem rate for the last 6 months, you wouldn't be the only one. And it is not the first time I've heard this today. It's not the first time I've heard this evening. So, obviously I don't know why. I don't know what the story is, but, even the PSA employees have to concede that they're grading cards tougher, and the gem rates that used to be 75, 80% are not going to be there, especially on certain cards that we could probably all name. But the point that I'm trying to make is I was mad about that upcharge. I was mad about that because now, my bulk sub is going from $1,000 to $1,600. But I go back and I take my time and I put it back in the spreadsheet, and those 100 cards, a lot of those cards were nines because they were cards that I broke with Ian and I would never submit for myself, but he wanted them in slabs. Some Revolution Chinese New Year stuff. I give him credit. He actually got a 10 on a Giannis, which is a pretty cool card to have. It's not one to sell. It's just a cool, shiny card for him to have. But, like lime green Court King, Kristaps Porzingis, where even if it got a 10, it would sell for like $8. But it didn't get a 10, So there were cards like that in there, and that obviously decreases the overall gem rate. But when I put the cards into my spreadsheet and I saw that I was into this 100-card sub for less than $2,500, even with the grading fees, and I added up what the cards should sell for, and it was over 20 grand. Obviously, I was not that upset anymore with the grades. A lot of that is that the cards just have appreciated a lot since I subbed them. But it really is. It's like like Andrew has to say, like a little woosah, light the incense. Run a bubble bath. He's a big bubble bath guy. Play some Sade, and then he told me it was actually Sade. I didn't know that. I just thought it was Sade.
All of just words describing, but you're able to go from an emotional state to a clear, rational. Okay, I'm just making money. I'm just
100%. 100%. And even if you're not, even if you're justifying why, and you're learning the lesson for what you did and what you can do differently next time, which is great. I love the tip. So let's go. Talk to me about some basketball. Talk to me about some sports, and then give me your tip.
Transition. I think in basketball, I was thinking about this theory. When a player is really successful, it's when his stats are run through the filter of an eye test. Okay, so I'll give you an example. Russell Westbrook.
Mm-hmm.
Huge stats, but when you run him through the filter of an eye test, you clearly see their stats are a little bit of a mirage. That doesn't make him a bad player. That just his stats are overinflated. Same thing with James Harden, right? You'll watch him, you'll be like, wow, this guy puts up 30 points a game, 10 assists, But then you go and you watch the eye test, and you're like, oh, he has the ball in his hands for 20 seconds, so that's why he has all the assists, right? He's really the only one holding the ball all possession. He has 30 points, but 12 of them come from the free throw line. Okay, so he doesn't show up in big games. So when I think a player runs through, he has good stats, and he passes the eye test, that's when I think you have something, right?
Yep.
Now, off the top of your head, after when I said that, who's a player that comes to mind?
Who passes the eye test or doesn't pass the eye test?
He has great stats, and he also passes the eye test.
Someone who's playing now? Or just anyone?
Anyone.
No, so, I mean, listen, obviously the true greats do. LeBron does. You know, LeBron passes the eye test. I mean, this guy, he looks like his stats. As a matter of fact, when he's playing and he's playing well, he looks like his stats should be even more. You know, I think Steph Curry passes the eye test. You know, there are guys out there who you look at them, you watch them playing, you're like, wow, this guy is for real. He's legit. He doesn't look, you know, I think the Russell Westbrook, if I just watched his games and wasn't tallying the points and wasn't looking at his stat sheet, I would think he was like a 12-8 player, not, you know, double that. But yeah, so I mean, I could probably name 10 people that are like that.
You could
name the pass the eye test. Sure. Yeah. I mean, all time, like Michael Jordan, or you just talk about playing now? Might be a little tougher. You know, I'd like to say like Anthony Davis, but I see him take some time off. But he's very, very good. I think you know, Anthony Davis is one of those guys that, like, if you watch him play, Giannis, it's like full bore the whole time, right? So I like Giannis because he's only playing 30 minutes and he seems to be scoring every minute.
So about Giannis. Now, if I told you, let's talk about Giannis and then this guy, Luka.
Mm-hmm. Does Luka definitely. Luka surpasses the eye test because the whole offense runs through him. So his stats, it's basically every play there's some sort of a stat accumulation for him. He's either going to be assisting it, he's going to be shooting it, or he's probably going to get a rebound when whoever it is who passed it and shot it missed.
So this is a play that I've been doing more research on than I typically do, and the reason why is because he has so much supply in his cards, right?
Yes. Yep.
We talk about, like, that's a little bit weird, right? It's kind of wonky. Like, okay, we get how good Luka is, but there's so many of his prism relative to Giannis, right?
Yep.
But this play, that's my play for today. And this is a really long-term play. And I was sitting here.
What's the play?
It's Luka.
Luka what?
I love how you, for you, it's like we give him the exact pick and the exact.
I have to. Otherwise, they're going to message me and be like, what was his pick again? So tell me. Luka Prism what?
It's the strategy.
Okay.
And I think long-term, I love Giannis. And Bro Namath was kind of getting into my DMs and kind of annoying me comparing Harden to Giannis. They're not even close to the same players. Giannis is on the come up. He's been getting better every single year. He's just miles above. I'm not going to do it justice right now.
Huge difference. People like Giannis, whereas with Harden, they kind of don't.
I think long term, if I had to pick, I would take a Luka Prism PSA 10 or a Luka Silver PSA 10 over a Giannis card, and his card is a third of the value. A third of the value. So remember, about a month ago, we talked about, would you rather have a Giannis Silver or a Luka Silver? Mm-hmm. From that day, this is when the research started. I really wanted to find out what's a better long-term investment. And Luka's a guard, one that's always positive in the hobby. 2, Luka is someone who had stats this whole year, but in the playoffs and in this bubble, he's completely blown out the eye test. You would never have imagined giving the business to the Clippers. And say what you want about the Clippers, that's still a really good team.
Oh, yeah.
But he did. So, for me, Luka Prism is the play. And I would buy a silver. I really would. I would trade into a silver. I'm actually even thinking of trading my Jordan PSA 8 for a silver. I think right now is actually a time you could get it cheap. And I don't want to say cheap. I want to say discounted is a better way to put it, right?
Yeah, $6,000's not cheap to most people.
It's not. But it's discounted relative. If you look at a Giannis Silver, it's a $30,000, $40,000 card at some points, right? So it's discounted. Someone's into it for maybe $1,000, $1,500, and they're willing to trade their Luka Silver for some of your lower end PSA 10s, like 4 or 5 of them. So that's my play. And if you can't afford,
I like it. I actually do like it. And here's what's fun with all the supply out there, and I've been collecting cards, for quite some time, the last couple of years of basketball, and I'm stockpiling cards. I can tell Luka Nation right now, I have Zions up the wazoo. I got Jaws up the wazoo. I got, all kinds of cards, but I have one Luka base and one Luka silver in PSA 10. So with all the supply that's out there, it's not something that I've stockpiled. Now I sold some, and I probably shouldn't have, but I like it because with the kind of
just quick a second theory on top of that. So you talk about supply. I think supply needs to be broken into two categories: active and passive supply. Right, so like you see when Probstein lists a lot of like 10 Luka silvers, PSA, and someone buys that for 65,000.
65 grand, yeah.
So I just checked. That just happened. That's passive supply. That's not someone that's going to put it back onto eBay and flip it.
No, you'll never see those 10 again. They're going in a safe, and somebody's hoping that they go to 100,000.
Exactly. So with these newer Prism cards, there's a lot of supply. But I think over time, what happens is the guys that overperform, like Luka, become passive supply and way less is available, where guys like Zion, who I don't think the market trusts, he's always going to have a ton of active supply.
Makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. So it's not just looking at the pop report. One pop report on one player is not the same as another pop report on another player, and you could have a higher pop but less active supply out there. It's a great point. It's something I don't think I've ever really thought about, and I like it. I like it a lot. So for those of you guys out there who don't want to spend $2,000 on a pick, I'm going to give you mine. And I got two because
spending $2,000 on a pick.
These
episodes they're culmination. They're a series of steps. They're a mastermind.
I like that too, by the way. I like that too.
I like it too, real quick, and then I want to say what you like because I love compliments. So I can't wait for that. It's a series of steps. It's how to move from one asset to another. None of these to me you're buying something. You're not buying like freaking like a TV for your house that's just going to sit there. These are assets that you're trading in and out of. Yep. And cash is just an asset.
Yep. No, but listen, so I like it. And here's the thing, right? So beginning of the season, we were high on Fernando Tatis at $80, $85 for his PSA 10, right? And, if you wound up buying, 10 of those for $800, you don't have to buy 10. Let's just say you bought 10 of them for $800. You could sell those now and make over $2,000. Mm-hmm. And you could turn that into a Luka. You can turn part of those into a Luka. So really, Andrew is talking about that trade up. It's, build on the tips, build on your collection, turn some smaller cards and some smaller sales, some smaller flips into bigger stuff. So I do like that. And it is good advice for our crew because, some of these winners are not long-term winners. Some of these winners are ones where you should try to sell out and capitalize on them if you can. And
I would do that trade. Trade, you could do that trade in 1 hour. You post that on a Facebook group. You say 5 Tatis plus cash for a Luka Prism 10. I always like to leave the cash as the variable as opposed to try and go all cards. So I love doing that. Like 5 Tatis plus cash. Right. So right now you could probably sell the Tatis for 200. They've dipped a little bit. And we could talk about your boy because I think he's a rookie. At the end of the day, you're gonna regress. I wouldn't panic too much about it. But
I think he's great. I think he's still going to win the NL MVP. We'll see what happens. There's a lot of game to play, and he's still, neck and neck with Betts. But my play, you ready? I got play.
Oh, real quick. The 5 Tatis plus cash. Oh, you got to run. Yes, go ahead.
So I have 2 picks for you today in different areas, and it's funny how we really don't talk about this ahead of time. We really don't. We don't talk about our picks ahead of time, or what Andrew's going to talk about, or what kind of tangent we go off on. But one of the things he talked about was like the sight test, right? And he talks about this all the time. Watch the games. He gets his picks and he takes his picks and he makes his plays based on watching the games. And I hope a lot of you listened to our Thursday Night Football preview last night, maybe played some fantasy sports or you name it, and we're checking out the stats of folks. But I hope you watched the game and saw that Baker Mayfield looked good, and his coach was smart and put him in positions that he thrives in, and his stats would have been even better had the game not been basically out of hand for the entire fourth quarter or half the third, you name it. And he had great stats and he had great completion percentage. He made one mistake, and you're going to have to live with that when you have, what some people are calling the next Brett Favre. He's going to throw some interceptions, but you got to take the good with the bad, right? So, and Joe Burrow is a real deal. And I think, when LeBron James tweets about you and says you got that it factor, forget about it. When you said buy Joe Burrow cards, that alone is enough for me to go and invest in him. When you got somebody like that, a GOAT out there, noticing your game, and he looked good, and he looked poised, and he took some hits, and every time he took a hit, He stood right back up, looked at the defense, was like, okay, keep coming. You know, I will tell you, for him to have longevity, that offensive line's got to do a better job of protecting him. But here's what's fun. I loved all those guys. But there was a guy in that game who, to me, head and shoulders, looked like a fantastic play above all of them. And it's somebody I hadn't even looked at. And it's overlooked because we have such a recency bias here. Everybody wants to buy this year's class and last year's class. And they're not looking beyond 2018 unless it's Patrick Mahomes or Christian McCaffrey that year. But that same year, 2017, I'm going to bring you a play today that the guy was fantastic, and I think he's only going to get better, and he's young. The Bengals running back, Joe Mixon, he was fantastic. I mean, that guy had moves. He's got a tremendous lower body where, you know, he's breaking tackles. You know, he was involved in the passing game, which says a lot because Giovanni Bernard is just a passing game specialist. And I think you can see Mixon mix it up a little bit more on that. But I looked, and you can buy his Prism card in quantity for less than $20 from 2017 Prism card. And the PSA 10s have not started running yet. And I'm betting that guy is going to have a fantastic season with Joe Burrow, a rookie quarterback, leaning on a running back like that, right? And it's just, you know, it's just a play that I'm going to bring to you guys based on just watching the games, just watching last night's game and say, all right, this kid, he's undervalued. I looked at his prices and I expect them to be higher. And one more watching the game tip for you guys. I like Mixon, but here's another one. Andrew only knows this because I text him every time, but do you know who leads the major league in home runs and no one's going to catch him? Luke Voigt has 20 home runs. It's absurd.
Yeah, bats.
Yeah, 160 at bats. Like, you know, I mean, a third of a season, basically. He's got 20 home runs. And I'd like to say it's a fluke, Luke, but it's not. It's not fluke Voigt. Because if you look at the last 160 games, look at the last 200 games that he's played since he's come over, the guy's been impressive. He's relatively healthy when he's there. I mean, he had a core injury at one point, but you know, he really does look good. And I mean, he's not going to win the MVP, but he's in the top 5 now. He's going to get MVP votes. He's got some press, some publicity, you name it. And here's what's funny. That guy, when he was traded to the Yankees a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago now, he was like a throw-in. It was like he might have been traded for a player to be named later by the Cardinals. So it's amazing, you know, how that has come about. And my play on Luke Voigt for you is the 2017 Topps Update Luke Voigt Rookie US 281. I looked this morning, and there was a lot of 5 of them for $40 or best offer. So this is an $8 card, right? And it's not one that anybody opened up 2017 Topps and graded. There's not that many of them graded out there. So I would not recommend buying the PSA 10s on him right now because the PSA 10s are too much because there's not a lot. People who have them now and see that he's leading the majors in home runs are going to charge through the nose on him. But the raw, you're going to be able to get his raw in quantity cheap, less than $10, and grade him, and you have an expensive card. Because this is a guy, he's young, he's on a great team, and he's literally stealing the spotlight from, we've talked about Yankees, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, Gleyber Torres, Gary Sanchez, you name it. This guy is outplaying all of them. And you don't get too many rookie plays. So there's 2 plays. There you go. Listen, and you can buy 100 of my 2 plays for less money than your one. That's why I love you, man. That's why we're a good pair.
So remind
Felix
Joe,
and Oscar.
Joe Mixon, 2017 Prism.
Yes, sir.
And Luke Voigt, Topps 2017, just Series 1.
That is it. Joe Mixon, silver. So they're all silver from 2017. He's card number 261, Joe Mixon 2017 Panini Prism. Like I said, they're available $20 in quantity, so you could probably find them for less. If you want a little sneaky play, Select has a 2016 XRC of him. It's number 9. It's a cool-looking card for Mixon. But I would stick with the Panini Prism. But if you can't find them, you don't find them in then that Select one is a cool card also. And the second play is the 2017 Topps Update Luke Voigt US 281. If you can't find that, there are a Chrome version of him also in Update for that year, and they're both fine. I wouldn't mind buying either one of them. But for some reason, when I look the Topps paper, which is my preferred card to go to because it's hard, you know, they usually have better long-term value because they're tougher to grade. They're actually a little cheaper than paper ones. But if you find Chrome ones in your price range, you gotta pick them up too. People haven't jumped on him yet. Outside of New York, people don't even know who he is.
Cage, I know you got to run.
Yep.
Real quick, can you give us like 30 seconds? To me, it always feels like Select is a personal collection item. Prism is the investment move. Is that about right?
Yes, 100%.
Or do you think opportunity to appreciate too, which is not as much?
So it depends, right? So this one here, the reason why I gave it, because it's actually the year before. So I like Select, but I'll always go Prism if it's the same thing. But Mixon, he's actually got a 2016 XRC card. And it's in the Bengals jersey, right? So if you type in 2016 Select, it's actually a year before. So you could make an argument, look, let's just say Mixon becomes the next Barry Sanders, and his cards are as collectible as they can be. There will be a faction of people out there who are collecting the 2016 card. Do you see it? Are you looking it up? See what I'm showing you or no?
I can't believe you just compared Mixon to Barry Sanders.
No, I'm just saying if he becomes that's the all-time best running back for me. But I'm just saying if he becomes something that people are collecting, then yeah, the fact that there's a 2016 Select and a 2017 Prism it's gonna matter. And he's in the jersey. You know, there are a lot of people out there who think that the 2002 finest LeBron is the card to chase instead of the 2003 Topps Chrome. Did you know that he had a Topps card before that Topps Chrome? So take a look. It's an XRC. So it was made when he was drafted. It's the one of him in the white suit.
Oh, this is cool. I like this.
So it's a cool card. It's a flashy card. I like it. And it pales in value comparison to that 2003 Topps Chrome. It's almost like Mantle 52 Topps and Mantle 51 Bowman. You know, the 52 Topps is not really his rookie, but it's a little different. Another comparison is the McGuire card. 87 Topps is his Topps rookie card, but the 85 XRC is his, his pre-rookie card, let's call it, when he's in his U.S. Olympic team jersey, 1985 Topps. So, I mean, there are those cards out there. Most of the time they're relegated to novelty status. But I'll tell you, that 85 Topps McGuire is the one to have. The 2002 Topps finest LeBron is not. Did you even know that existed, that card?
No. Well, we hop on here every day, and, you know, we want to do the best we can. We want to share our best practice, our best secrets. We don't charge you guys $1 for this. And the value that's in this episode, I think it just blows away any other episodes we've done. It's very tactical. It's in the weeds. There's so much you could take out of this episode and go action on. I hope you guys do. Thanks, Luka Nation.
Yeah.
Have a great weekend.
Listen, I love doing this stuff. I hope we don't confuse you with throwing all these weird little things out there at you. But, you know, Andrew's got some really good tips in this one here, right? So keep track of your stuff. Keep track of your cards, you know, almost be robotic about it, you know, and it's funny because I'll text him with fire and brimstone. And I'm pissed at this one. I'm pissed at that one. And, you know, when we come on here and we chat, I'm sure you guys giggle at it, how I kind of like, you know, I make fun of his, his feng shui mentality and his yogi style. But every once in a while, you know, it actually makes sense, right? Because if you take a step back and you woo-saw, you know, you did it once with my PSA return, right? The silver linings on a PSA return. You were like, look at how much the 9 sells for, you know?
I want clarity in my decision making. Yep. That's really what I look for. Like, I don't want my monkey mind. So, like, I think we all have two minds inside of us. We have, like, clarity, our intuition, our voice, whatever people want to call it. And then we have the monkey mind, which just like looks for problems. And I try to quiet that. So I don't know if that's woosah, but it's taken some practice.
Well, I don't know about that whole thing. I was giving you a compliment, and now you just went down a weird little hole with some sort of
it's real, man.
Monkey thing. I don't even know what to see. Dude, I got to quit now. What the hell are you talking about?
So we wake up every morning. The monkey mind looks for problems.
Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to cut you off and make you stop talking. And what we're going to say is anybody who's listening to this now and wants to comment when we post this episode who writes monkey mind in the comments, you write monkey mind in there. I'm going to give away some cards. Let's see. What should I give away? How about – oh, Ian's giving me a card. This is a Bo Bichette rookie card. Yeah, I like that. But how about this? How about – I'm going to pick somebody who writes monkey mind in the comments, and I'm going to give away a Tyler Hero Prism rookie card. How's that sound? One that could possibly grade PSA 10. I'm going to take it out of my PSA sub because that's your favorite guy, so how can I not give that away? I'm going to give a Tyler Hero Prism for listening to the end.
That's support.
Monkey mind. What the heck is monkey mind? Anyway, doesn't matter what it is. Just comment it, guys. Thank you for spending some time with us on another episode of the Luka's, Tigers, and Bronze Oh My podcast. Do us a favor and like, subscribe. You know what? Don't just like and subscribe. Everybody does that. If you like us, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies, tell everybody. And we hope you got something from spending some time with us today, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.